Well, Virgil was one of the most famous Latin poets, and he lived in the 1st century BC. And he's most famous for writing the Aeneid, which is the story of Aeneas, the Trojan hero who escaped from the sack of Troy to Italy to found Rome. So the Aeneid's really the story of the beginning of the Roman Empire. Virgil's writing the Aeneid in the 20s BC, and this is precisely the time when the new institution of the Roman Empire is emerging under the first real Roman emperor, Augustus. And you can see in the poem how it's cast as the origins of the Roman Empire. So the Romans thought of themselves as being descended from the Trojans, and here's a poem about number one Trojan king, Aeneas, coming from Troy to Italy. It's also a poem about reconstruction. You may remember Troy gets burned, destroyed. Aeneas escapes with a smallish band of refugees and founds a new kingdom in Italy that eventually becomes Rome. And that's a bit like what Augustus is doing in the 20s. There'd been at least 2 generations of civil war, and after the Battle of Actium in 31 BC, the one date you all need to remember in Roman history, Augustus is really doing the same in bringing Italy together and refounding the country in a more peaceful environment. And Augustus does appear in this poem probably 3 times, and he appears through the sneaky tactic of having prophecies about the future, because the Aeneid is set about 1,000 years before the time of Augustus. So how do you get Augustus into the poem? The answer is you have scenes in which the future is predicted. And we have 3 of those in book 1, in book 6, and in book 8. And in each of those, the climax really of Roman history, as the poem sees it, is the reign of Augustus. So in book 1, he is the one who's going to bring the new golden age and peace. In book 6, he's depicted as a great conqueror, covering all the earth. And in book 8, we get the very specific description of the victory at the Battle of Actium, that date I mentioned, 31 BC, which is the conclusive battle of the civil wars, in which, from Augustus' point of view, he brings peace to Rome and unifies the state. So Augustus is really at the heart of the Aeneid.